The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Welcome back to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Meacham, former UC Bearcat basketball player from 1997 to 1999 under the legendary coach Bob Huggins, and was fortunate enough to wear the iconic Jordan brand unis during my time. Now, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex_Meacham. Meacham spelled M-E-A-C-H-A-M. I'm also on Facebook, Alex Meacham, LinkedIn, Alex Meacham, Snapchat, Big Meach 41, and I'm now on TikTok at Alex Meacham 41. I'd like to bring in my super producer, Stu Holt. And Stu, very, very special announcement.
Very good.
And it's not about UC going to the Big 12. I have a TikTok video uploaded.
No, whoa.
You're right. Go ahead.
Whoa. Not one.
Not one. Not two.
Not two.
Three TikTok videos up.
I didn't see the third one.
I released the third one.
Today?
What's today? Today's Wednesday. No, yesterday.
Wow.
Hey, man, that holiday messed me up. Like, I don't even know what day. Like, having a Monday off, and it's Wednesday, it's bizarre. And tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh, no, I do know. I did see the third one. Good,
so
very good.
You shot the video.
I did.
So for as long as we've been doing this podcast, we've talked about me having a TikTok and not actually having TikTok videos up, and me just creeping through TikTok. Now I can officially say that I have a TikTok video. And then here was the inspiration behind it. So last episode 92, we talked about me going to LA and hiking in the hills and going to the top of Runyon Canyon, overlooking all of Los Angeles, California, one of my favorite cities in the world, and doing like an inspirational, maybe saying a few words. And everybody knows, Stu Holt, that you are the master of coming up with these like T.D. Jake quotes and just like great quotes and inspirational words. So I was kind of leaning on you to kind of, give me something to say at the top of the mountain, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what happened was we were on our mountain hike, and it was 7 of us were hiking. And a friend of mine was like, the Hollywood signs like in the backdrop, and I hadn't recorded anything yet. And he said, man, you should do like a basketball move and shoot a jump shot with the Hollywood sign behind you. So I did it. And he was like, man, that's your TikTok video. And he's like, you should do that same move, like just all these different places you go, and that kind of becomes your thing. So
good.
That was the inspiration behind the first TikTok video. So, Stu, I now have a TikTok video. Not one, not two.
Not two, but three. You're finally a participant.
Thanks to you.
Very good.
How are your TikTok videos going, by the way?
They're going okay. Took a little break, but we'll be back. We'll be back. Just like how Jordan had to take a break.
Will you say, welcome back?
Welcome back. That's what you should comment. That's what you should comment when I post it.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I will. So, and we're going to get into some things here shortly, Stu, but I want to talk about today. I went over to the University of Cincinnati, and this is the 7th year that I've had the opportunity to speak to UC student athletes. Now, this is the second time I've spoken this year, but the 7th year in which I've been asked by the athletic department to come over and speak to the student athletes. And today I spoke to, and what it is today is I speak to a concentrated group of student athletes. So these are athletes that are graduating, getting ready for that kind of that next level of life. Des Ritter, UC's quarterback, who, if everything works out, should be a pro. He was in the class for the lecture that I gave, and there are a lot of football players there. And so I really enjoy, going back and really talking to those student athletes, because I can remember, Stu, when I was in that position and I was sitting there. I may not have been a Des Ritter or a high-level athlete, but I just remember all the things that I'm thinking about and kind of caught up in basketball, practice, games, and not thinking about all the other things that come along with being a student athlete. And the beauty is my goal is to, give these, young student athletes some words that will help them think about the long game and not think about like right now. Like, the football team has a game against Murray State on Saturday, right? And of course you want to be zoned in, you want to be focused for that Murray State game, but you've got to be thinking long term about your brand and you being remembered as a great ambassador of UC athletics, and one of the great athletes to ever walk through the halls and leaving a memorable impression with everybody you interact with, whether it's the custodians, the John Cunningham, the athletic director. Talk a lot about that stuff. And I'm telling you, Stu, man, these athletes are locked in, man. It's really cool to see them just locked into every word, that I have to say, and probably others that come there and speak. So I love having an opportunity to come back and give them some hand-me-down knowledge. Like I said, Des Ritter was there. Had a young man, shout out to Blake Hanna, who was there, and he came up to me. Blake is on the swim team, and he told me a great story. I won't get into all of it here on the podcast, but on how he overcame obstacles to make it to UC and be a part of the team and be a part of the Olympic trials for swimming. And man, this kid was just had great energy, and came up and spoke to me and has kept in touch after I left there. So shout out to Blake Hanna. After my speech, I stopped up top to the UC basketball office, got to run around and talk to some of the coaches. Dermar Johnson was there. Talked to all the assistants. I didn't talk to Coach Miller. He had his door closed. He was on the phone, but I talked to all the other assistants, and they were hard at work at recruiting, because recruiting
is very good. It's picking up.
It is picking up. It is big time. Now, let me say this real quick, Stu, and I'm going to bring you in here in a second, because I need your help with the next couple topics I have. So Coach Miller was on the phone, so I didn't have an opportunity to talk to him today. But I want to tell Bearcat fans how impressed I am with Wes Miller. Last Sunday, Wes called me, right? I went for my Sunday run, my long Sunday run. I get back. I usually take some time after I do my run, and I stretch a little bit and kind of just relax, and just take some time to meditate, I guess, for lack of a better word. And my phone rings, and I got my earbuds in, and I see it's Coach Miller. I answer the phone, and we talked for about 30 minutes, and he was talking about the things he's doing and just the direction of the program, how important the alumni are to the basketball program. And I'm like, this man is calling me walk on, last guy on the bench from 1999, 2000 era. Think about all the other phone calls he's making and how impressive that is, that he's taken the time to build these relationships. It came across to me that Wes Miller is super invested in UC basketball. He wants to do well here. He wants the program to do well, and it really came across in our conversation. And I think that's starting to come across to the UC fans. So I was definitely super impressed with him. I've been impressed with him, but that phone call really, listen, I'd be lying if I sat here and tell you that it felt good for him to call me and just talk to me out of all the stuff he has to do, recruiting, fundraising, calling donors, and he's calling some old walk-on up for 30 minutes, shooting the shit, just going over kind of the landscape of not only the greater Cincinnati area, but UC athletics and basketball. Just super impressed. So what I want to jump into, Stu, I want to talk about several things that you and I attended this past Saturday, in which Colin Cruzy, who's here with us, he's manning the video, didn't come to.
Yeah. No. You know what? I realized this. Maybe we went, on Saturday? So maybe like a couple of days ago, I realized that I missed my moment. Remember when y'all sent me that video? Stu, where are you? That was my time. I missed it.
So when I went to watch Cruzy perform at Mio's.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was at the Holy Grail downtown.
Yeah.
When I ran into him.
Because y'all went to the game together.
We did not go to the Reds game.
Y'all went to the game.
I went to the Reds game with Rob Parker from L.A.
Nah,
and my best friend Seth Boyle.
I saw him in the picture.
We randomly saw him.
Oh,
by the way, let me say this real quick. And I'm not trying to distract from what you're talking about.
It's okay.
So, look at Cruzy right now.
Yes.
Of course, he's got shorts on. He always wears shorts.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what temperature is.
Absolutely.
He's got a hat on backwards and glasses.
Yep.
That's the Cruzy look? Would you agree with that?
It is. He got the barber jacket on.
So
Super
I'm
cuts.
a breeze past that. So, but here's the thing. Cruzy has he has multiple looks that are so he's got more different variations of Cruzy. You remember the one day he showed up, I think it was last Wednesday, no glasses, haircut, no hat.
I didn't know who he was.
I didn't know who, I said, who's this guy walk? I said, may I help you?
Yeah.
He said, well, you don't know, it's me, it's Cruzy. And when I saw him down the Holy Grail, I didn't even notice him at first.
Wow.
It was a different Cruzy. I think he's up to something.
All I'm saying is,
I think this is a disguise.
I wasn't gonna say this. I wasn't gonna ever tell nobody.
But you're telling it now.
But I am now. One night when we walked out of here after doing the podcast, I looked, and I don't think he realized I saw him. But he took off his jacket and had a cape on.
He's Superman.
And he flew off into the night.
He's Clark Kent.
He flew off into the night.
He's Superman.
He flew off into the night.
You know what? You're so right, because
he flew off into the night.
The glasses, the hat. He comes across.
I saw it. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Super Cruzy.
Super Cruzy.
Super Cruzy. You called him LL Cruzy before we started. You know what I like about this?
LL Cruise J.
As we talk about him, just look how stoic he is.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you guys are right. I do have a cape.
I do have a cape. I did fly into the night.
So, but let me tell you.
With an owl on my shoulder.
No, don't bring that up, please. Don't bring that up. All right, we're gonna go past that one.
Okay.
So, Bearcat fans, he's making fun of me right now. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. So I see Cruzy at the Holy Grail. So you did miss your opportunity.
That would have been great. It would have been great.
So let me tell them about Saturday. So Saturday, 3 things were going on. All right, Cruzy, and you missed all 3 of these. So first was Cincinnati Basketball Fan Fest. That's the first thing on Saturday. That went down at 12:30. We'll talk about the details of that here shortly. After that, UC versus Miami football. After that, after party at Mio's in Clifton.
Amazing.
We did all 3 of those. It was a long day.
It was. It was very good. It was very good. I had a great time. Had a really good time.
Now, let's start with this.
Okay.
So, the Cincinnati Basketball Fan Fest started at 12:30. So, I go to boxing in the morning. I get out of boxing and I check my phone. And you had an incident.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I don't know if you want to tell people what happened.
I got robbed.
Well, you didn't get. Well, you did get robbed.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
People out there might think you got robbed at gunpoint.
Okay. Okay, how about this?
Okay.
I'm gonna set up the situation. I was at a Warner Hills. I was at a Warner Hills football game.
Oh, now you're gonna get it out there because we through the podcast we might find out.
We might find out. Yeah, you know what? Let's be on the lookout. Let's be on the lookout.
Okay, I'm gonna step back. I'll let you go ahead and
Let's
take
be on the lookout. I was at Walnut Hills for a football game. Right. I was at the game. I went outside because I had to meet up with Cruzy. You know, Cruzy was dropping something off to me, and after that, my wallet went missing. So I mean, I'm not saying that.
So somebody stole
my wallet
with everything in it.
With everything in it, ID, credit card, a card to get into the school, Social Security cards. And then they started to splurge.
So, okay, now, I'm not stealing anybody's wallet.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to steal somebody's wallet, the question would be, what would I go out and purchase?
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see what they purchased, and I almost threw up.
Tell us what they purchased.
Well, I guess they went and got, some groceries for the daggone Labor Day.
At Kroger?
At Kroger.
In Northern Kentucky?
In Northern Kentucky. And I started thinking to myself.
Where's Cruzy from?
I started thinking to myself, who do I know that I may have seen that night that is from Northern Kentucky?
I feel like this is an episode of Scooby-Doo, like where they like...
we pull off the mask. Cruz, LL Cruz, J.
In his glass, he doesn't have his glasses on.
Well, guys, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for... somebody got me. And they went and they got some groceries. And then, when I saw this, I was highly disgusted. But it really told me everything I needed to know about the person.
Yep.
They didn't go to Ruby Tuesdays.
Ruby Tuesdays.
They didn't go to PF Chain.
That's where I would have gone.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't go to any steakhouse, to any hibachi place. They didn't go anywhere that I would think someone would go if they just had money to spend. You know where they went?
Yeah, I do.
They went to McDonald's. McDonald's.
Which you said you don't like McDonald's? Okay, so Cruzy's trying to. So which McDonald's did it have the location?
It said
Northern Kentucky.
It said the one by Highlands High School. That's all I'm saying.
Now they have cameras everywhere now, Stu.
They do.
So
they do. And if I look at that camera and I see somebody running out with a guitar, I'm gonna know it was Cruzy.
So okay. So here's the deal. You text me that somebody had taken your wallet and you had to get everything together. Yeah. And so the Bearcat, or I'm sorry, I can't call it that. Cincinnati Basketball Fan Fest. I can't call it the Bearcat thing because it was a non-UC sanctioned event. So you text me that, you're going to be late or whatever. Well, UC had texted me they needed me there early because they wanted me to get into the shooting contest. I need to get there and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, hey, you're going to have to meet me at the event or whatever. So I go over to the event, I get settled, and then Dermar Johnson, he's like, hey, we need you to shoot in the former player, current player shooting contest. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I haven't played basketball in, I would say probably 12 years, like really hooped. I've shot around. I may have played 2-on-2 jokingly or whatever, but I haven't hooped in 12 years. So I don't know what they mean by shooting contest. Is that like NBA got the rack, you're shooting for with the little money ball and then going? So I didn't actually know until they announced it that it was going to be two current players and a former player, 4 teams. And so they announced the first team. So it's 2 current players and I think it was Melvin Levitt maybe. And you've got to make 3 shots. So you put one player at like a what were they, at the block, right? And you got another player at the free throw line, and you got a player at the 3-point line. So the first person has to make the shot for then the second person to make their shot and the third person. And it's all based on time. So once the first shot's made, second shot's made, third shot's made, then everybody goes to half court. You've got to make a half court shot. The team that makes all 4 shots in the least amount of time is the winning group. So they're put like, so I think Melvin and Logan were the other former players that were on the other teams. They all shot the close shots, right? And Logan made the half court shot, which was super impressive, which was cool to see because everybody knows how great of a shooter Steve Logan was and is. So then I was on the last group. So it was Rob Banks, the walk-on, and then Jared Hensley. He was on my squad, and then myself. So I told them, like, no, I'm not. First of all, I'm not shooting that close bank shot, right? I didn't want to shoot the free throw. I'm shooting the 3. So I told the guy, like, I'm shooting the 3. Like, you're not letting the former player shoot the 3. I'm shooting the 3. So I said that on the microphone. I kind of put myself out there.
You did.
And as I'm walking out there, I'm like, oh, shit, wait a minute. If I don't, because, like, you have to keep shooting until you make it. Now, keep in mind what I just said a second ago. Cruzy, I don't really play basketball. I don't hoop anymore. I don't really, like, I'll shoot occasionally, but I don't practice. So I'm like, I haven't taken a 3 like this. And there's crowds, And if you ever, for those fans that are out there, if you've ever played on a college basketball court, when you play on a college basketball court that has large stands and bright lights, it is a different visual and depth perception looking at the basket. It's different. It's not like shooting in the high school gym.
Right.
It is very different. So I walk out to that 3-point line. I'm like, oh boy, I better not mess this up. So I got to tell you, this is the honest to God truth. I'm gonna tell you exactly what went through my mind. So the guy's like, the guy on the microphone's like, go. So Rob Banks shoots his shot. Jarrett's getting ready to shoot his shot. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Where they have me lined up to shoot this 3 is the same exact spot where I'd say the majority of the time in a game, whenever I would catch and shoot, when I played for the Bearcats, it was pretty much from this spot.
Wow.
And we're in the arena, so it all comes back. Everything comes back. I can hear Hugs' voice like, you better not miss this. I'm not bullshitting right now. I thought back to, like, this is my spot. Like, I gotta make this. So you said something to me. You're in the stands.
Yes.
And you're recording. You said, Meach, as soon as I saw you wipe your hands
He wiped his hands on. I'm like, oh, he got it. He got it. I was like, he got it.
So Big Henny makes his shot, and he's passing out to me, and I wipe my hands, and I catch it. And as soon as I let it go, man, it felt like 1999 over again, Stu. I knew as soon as it left, it was good. And what did I do?
He did the Steph Curry turnaround. I was like, wow.
And it went in. I'm like, oh, man.
Before you shot it, you know what I was doing?
Before I shot it?
Right before you caught it, I was hoping he was going to make it, so I was in the stands like this.
You were praying?
I did the Meach prayer.
Well, it worked, so thank you.
Yeah, man.
I really
did the Meach signature.
I appreciate that. No, that was. Well, let me tell you what was so cool. And so, Cruzy, since you didn't show up, you weren't there. You actually. Is it true that you mixed up what day it was? Just yes or no, Cruzy? Yes. All right. So Cruzy mixed up what day, so he wasn't able to come. Because I could have got you into that and the football game, but
I honestly thought I saw Cruzy, and I wasn't gonna say nothing again.
You think he was there?
I'm just saying.
Was it him and because he's got 3 different looks?
It was a disguised look.
See, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think he can maneuver through places as the different. I think it's different Cruzies. It's like this is Colin, then there's like Larry Cruzy, and there's Pete Cruzy.
There's all types of Cruzies.
There's all types of Cruzies. So I gave you your pass. You came down and you sat on the bench.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you. I want to hear what you have to say, Stu. But what was so cool about that event was the current players on the Bearcat basketball team. It was really cool for them to engage with the former players and get to meet former players that they never hear about. They don't know who they are. I'm fortunate enough that I live here. I go over to practices. I know all the players on the team, but there are guys like Roger Mcclendon, who Roger Mcclendon is one of the greatest, not only greatest players, one of the greatest people to ever wear the red and black. And these guys got to talk with him. And just like, I'm telling, who was I telling? David Julius. I'm like, yo, Roger Mcclendon was great. And he was like, really? Tell me more. And I'm feeling, I had you sit down, you sat next to Roger Mcclendon. That was the first time you met Raj?
That was the first time, yeah.
How awesome is Roger Mcclendon?
He's great. Had a really good conversation with him. He's real personable, really good dude. I enjoyed talking with him. I definitely enjoyed talking to him.
You talk, like, when I tell you he's a legend.
Yeah.
McDonald's All-American, like one of the top players to ever wear the red and black.
Wow.
And the scary part about it is I'm sorry, let me say it like this. As great as he was on the court, his second chapter in life of being a father and a businessman, he's so much better than he was a player. And he was a great player, man. Tremendous person. It's important for our current guys to know guys like that.
Oh, absolutely.
We had other greats in there. Eric Martin showed up. Let me tell you what was so cool about Eric Martin showing up. Eric Martin showed up after he had applied for the Bearcat job as the head coach. Didn't get it. Obviously, Wes Miller got it. Eric's currently the assistant coach at West Virginia, and he showed up. He showed up to support.
Wow.
Support us, former players, support the current players. Man, I'm telling you, Eric, as I said before on my podcast way back when he applied for the job, I tell people he's salt of the earth, and I think that was proof. Most guys that applied for a job or didn't get it ain't showing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're kind of salty, right?
Right, absolutely.
Not E-Mart.
Wow.
E-Mart's the truth. And I want to say this real quick. I posted a picture, Stu, yesterday. I posted a picture, last couple of days I posted 2 pictures, but one I want to talk about in particular. I posted a picture with Terry Nelson and Corey Blunt. Both gentlemen we've interviewed for the podcast. Both Bearcat greats, obviously played in the Final Four. I'm here to say that those 2 guys, I took a picture with both of them and posted it. I don't know that I thank guys like that and other former players enough for setting the stage for guys like me to even have an opportunity to be on the team. And if you think about it, like you think about UC basketball, obviously there's a time that Oscar played, and then you've got the 61-62 national championship. And by the way, when I was in LA, and I'm talking about this a little bit later, but when I was in LA and I'm talking to people, they found out I played basketball for the Bearcats and all that. Do you know so many people think Oscar Robertson played on the 61 and 62 national championship team, and he didn't. He left the year before they won the 2 championships.
Oh, wow.
And people, argue with me. They're in LA like, no, that's not true. I'm like, you have a Google search on your phone. Type it in, and if I'm right, you owe me dinner in LA at some fancy restaurant. And people look it up, and they're like, holy shit. They won it the next 2 years after he left.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
So you've got that whole era. there's kind of some ups and downs with, UC hoops over the period, but when Hugs took the job, UC went to the next level. I mean, obviously the national championship 61-62 were great things, and then it kind of went through a different flow. And then what Terry Nelson, I think Corey Blunt, Van Exel, and AD, that whole crew, they helped take UC basketball to that next level, right? And I think we've got to appreciate those guys. And I don't mean the fans. I'm talking about myself and guys that played after them, really showed them a lot of love for the stage they set, because without them, we may not get a D'Antonio Wingfield, a Danny Fortson, a Kenyon Martin. Like, they helped make it that brand and that name that's, well known all over the United States of America. So shout out T-Nell and Corey Blunt. Did you get a chance to, Terry already because of?
His son TJ. His son TJ plays at Walnut Hills. He's the starting quarterback.
Yes.
And I think he's a sophomore. Yes, he is. So, yeah, he's doing good. He's doing his thing, and he's also the standard for TikTok. So, we ran into TJ, we did.
Terry Nelson's son, at the UC football game.
Sure did.
And we were talking to him about TikTok. Tell the Bearcat fans how many people watched one of TJ's TikTok videos. Do you remember what he said?
It was something million.
15 million.
15 million.
Huh?
15 million.
That's unbelievable.
15 million. I remember seeing it. It was crazy. It was crazy. He is TikTok famous. I asked him for some advice. So, Cruzy, you may be seeing a hairstyle change for me.
I wish people were in on some of this stuff.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be in disguise now.
So, first of all, shout out Terry for the job he's done as a father. Is TJ not the greatest kid?
He's a great kid. Really good kid. Really nice, really polite, well-spoken. He's a really good kid.
He
Absolutely.
Is. He's destined for greatness. He's going to be very, very successful.
He is.
He's got all the tools. No surprise there, because Terry's my guy, man. But also took a picture with current Bearcat walk-on Sam Martin and former Bearcat walk-on John Meeker. We took a walk-on pictures, the 3 M's. John Meeker, in my opinion, having been one of many walk-ons, John Meeker is the GOAT walk-on. John's my guy, man. What you talk about, one of the nicest, the happiest. I don't think I've ever seen Meeker in a bad mood. Like, if I'm ever in a bad mood, I'm just gonna call Meeker just to get cheered up about he's just happy.
Yeah.
Right? Good people. Sam Martin, current Bearcat walk-on. You talk about a kid that's got it all together. I mean, he's in the business school, which not a lot of athletes do. I think he might be one of 3, maybe. I could be wrong on that, but not many. Balancing hoops, school. The kid's impressive, man. We've had a long string of good, very, very good walk-ons. So it was good to catch up with those guys. I know Brandon Miller, other walk-on. I texted him. He was out of town. Alex Eppensteiner was out of town. Zach Tobler, I believe, is getting married. So shout out to him. How was it for you? I mean, being there and sitting down on that floor and seeing what was going on.
It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being able to see the players do what they do and the alumni. I thought it was a pretty cool atmosphere to see the former players, like you said, and the current players talking to each other, giving advice and stuff like that. And it was fun. It was fun. It was a good event for sure. It was a really good event.
I'm glad
really
you could be there for that.
I appreciate the invite. I appreciate the invite.
And so when we were leaving the Basketball Fan Fest.
Yes.
And I'd ask her, I said, did you meet Coach Miller? And at that point, you hadn't.
Correct.
So we were walking to the basketball tailgate, which was by the Oscar statue. And so we go from the Bearcat, the Basketball Fan Fest, and now we're going to, kind of a Bearcat Hoops tailgating in front of the Oscar statue before the game. And by the way, super shout out to Jarrett Hensley, current Bearcat player, his father, James. So after the event ended, his father, Jarrett brings his father over and introduces him to me along with his mother, but his father loves the podcast.
Oh, wow.
And told me he loves listening to the podcast, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool that, we've got a kid who hadn't worn the Bearcat uniform yet, not from here. I believe he might be from like St. Louis. I got to look that up. I should know this, but it might be from the Missouri area. But his dad's been listening to the podcast. So I was like, man, I got to give his dad a shout out on the podcast. So shout out, James. It's a pleasure meeting you. And I really look forward to talking with you more during the Bearcat season. And I'm telling you, man, I am telling people Jarrett's going to be good. He's got that left-handed stroke. He's bigger than I thought he was. Strong kid. He's got a lot of swag to him. I like him a lot. So I think he's going to be a good player. Go to the tailgating event. Now, Cruzy, at the tailgating event, they have free food. So Stu is definitely making his way to where the free food is. Am I right or wrong?
At first, actually, I wasn't going to eat anything. I wasn't going to eat at all. But then you're talking about the after the event.
Correct, by the Oscar.
Yeah, I wasn't going to eat anything, Cruzy. Because I was just like, I'll wait till afterwards. Might get something to eat afterwards or whatever. I'm not going to eat nothing. But then I was talking with some people, and they came back with something, and I was like, you know what?
Cruzy, are you buying this?
No, for real. I was like, you know what? It is free, so I might as well.
Shitty shoveling?
For real. I was like, it is free. I guess I'll go and get something. Okay. So I went and got 2 hot dogs and a burger.
Cruzy, when we walked out of the basketball arena and we were walking to the tailgating, in his mind, he's going, what kind of food are they going to have there? He knew it the whole time.
No, I didn't, Cruzy.
He was just waiting for his opportunity to get 2 hot dogs and a hamburger.
No, I wasn't going to eat. I was going to chill. And then, I just saw everybody eating. I'm like, I don't want to be rude. So I'm going to go ahead and, get a couple things.
Well, listen, it was free, so it was
free.
For everybody.
It was free.
It was food for everybody.
It was free.
And once again, Cruzy wasn't there because he mixed up the days. Shout out, Cruzy.
Or was he there?
Or was he there in a disguise as Larry Cruzy?
As Larry
We
Cruzy.
don't know.
Absolutely.
He's not smiling anymore. Like he's just
because he's nervous.
he's like, they're on to me.
They're on to me. I never thought they would figure it out. I saw somebody at the top rafters.
Like Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
But no, the tailgating was cool too. I enjoyed talking to the current players. I got to really talk with them a lot at the tailgate. Mason Matson, man, that's my guy, man. Mace is a cool kid. He's got a lot of swag to him, man. He's a really, really impressive kid. And Mikey Saunders too. He's very impressive.
Yeah,
were you there when we were talking to him? Were you standing there, or did you?
I'm not sure.
You were there when we were talking with Jeremiah Davenport, correct?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay. You were getting the 2 hot dogs and the hamburger. So he was eating while I was talked with Jeremiah. Talked with Jeremiah a little bit, man. I kind of put my arm around him and I was telling him I was sorry to hear about his father passing and stuff like that. And when you look at a head coach like a Wes Miller and you see his personality, you start to see like his team form that personality, right? They take on the personality of the coach. It was so impressive to watch these athletes at the tailgate, how they conducted themselves, going around and introducing themselves to different people, shaking hands, talking to donors, talking with fans, taking pictures with fans. And Coach Miller did a great thing. He really instructed those kids on telling everybody that was at the event, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And that's very, very important, man. Listen, at the end of the day, Coach Miller's going to have to win basketball games. But the first 100 days of him on the job and the wins that you need to have your first 100 days, he is winning, doing all the right things. Been very, very fun to watch. So, I introduced you to Coach Miller.
Yes.
That did happen. I think you had finished the 2 hot dogs and the hamburger at that point, correct?
Well, I did finish the food pretty swiftly.
Okay.
But that occurred actually at the game.
You know what? That's right, because that was when we were talking to my buddy Seth, and I got distracted by the recruit. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I turned my back. Okay.
Yes.
We'll come to that. I'm sorry. That's right. So, but I do want to say this. Here's what I was thinking of. Coach Miller says to us, hey, so there was like a long line to get into the football game.
It was.
And Coach Miller said, come this way and we can avoid the line, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, this is Stu's real first time with me. I never make it anywhere quickly.
Not at all.
And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
And we'll talk about why I don't make. It's not because I walk slowly, but Coach Miller took a bunch of people, and we missed that opportunity.
We did.
So finally, once Stu and I kind of get everything together, we cut through the arena. Because, I mean, the line, Cruzy, to get in the stadium for the football game was ridiculous. It was way back to the street. There's no way we were getting in that line.
Not at all.
And there's one thing that I don't like, and that's lines. Okay? I don't like lines. That's why I love Kings Island, but I don't like Kings Island because there's always
a line.
Lines, right?
Yeah.
Even lines to get to La Rosa's Pizza, which is different at Kings Island than it is at any of the other La Rosa's locations. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely. I don't know what they put inside of it, but it's 100% different.
It's different. Call La Rosa's up, just like one of the ones in Montgomery or somewhere, and say, hey, can you make the pizza? Can I get the Kings Island?
And it's gonna be like click.
Can I get the Kings Island version? Click.
You're gonna get blocked from La Rosa's.
So we try to figure out how to get into the stadium from the arena, the basketball arena. So are you okay? You sneezed and you just your eyes closed.
I tried to hold it in and it almost hurt me.
Okay, it looked like it hurt.
It did.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay.
You're back with us.
I'm back.
All right. So we walk through the arena and we find a lower level, Cruzy. So we start walking through this lower level, and there's a security guard off to the left. And we're like, hey, Coach Miller and everyone, I'm name dropping now because it's like a police officer or whatever. And I'm like, hey, Coach Miller came through this way and we're supposed to go this way to the stadium. And he was like, oh yeah, come this way. Then remember what he said?
I do. He said, oh, my son plays for the Shining Star.
Yes.
I said, wow. In my mind, I'm like, how is this possible? I'm like, how is this? What are the odds that we go down to try to find anything, and the one officer, his son plays for the Shining Star? I'm like, wow.
So his son's new to my program. I had never met the guy because they hadn't played yet. Well, actually, I take that back. They were actually playing on Saturday while I was at the football game, and Dad was working. So the officer walked us out right to the stadium.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right on out there.
Absolutely.
And right as we were walking out, didn't somebody else stop us? Right as we walked?
It was another guy.
It was another guy stopped us.
I should have knew right there. I'm like, you know what?
But I don't. But see, here, did he act? He acted like we knew each other for 15 years, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought you did.
I still don't know who that was.
I thought you did. I was like, oh, okay, he knows him.
Me, man, how you been? I was like, I've been good. Who are you? So anyway, but I played
in Cruzy, it was only the beginning.
So Cruzy, we are on the complete opposite side of the stadium from where my season tickets are. So the reason I had an extra ticket is my father has had some health issues. He's had a bad knee, which we actually took him to the doctor, and we got his knee drained and got a shot in his knee. He's doing a lot better. But he couldn't attend the football game. So I had an extra ticket, so that allowed Stu to go. So we're walking from one side of the arena to the other. And how'd that go, Stu?
We might as well stayed in the line. I mean, we might as well have gotten in the line, Crazy. You're talking about that long line. I saw some of them people walk right past us. I'm like, I thought he was at the stoplight. I'm like, man, I saw him all the way by the stoplight. They walking past us. I'm like, oh my goodness. Cruz, when I tell you, from now on, Meach needs security. That's what I told him. I'm like, if you think you're gonna make it to your seat in less than an hour, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
So I told Stu, you need to be my security guard. He's a terrible security guard. Don't ever hire Stu as a security guard.
No.
Don't ever.
One time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was walking, and I kid you not, I was just talking to him. I'm walking, and I just look back, gone, nowhere to be found. And I'm looking like a kid that lost his parent. I'm like, where did he go? I'm like, and I couldn't find him anywhere. I had to call him. And then I saw him after that. So,
well, let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say this. When we were walking through the concourse to the seats,
yes,
there were so many Bearcat fans.
There was
that stopped me and us and talked about the podcast. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That was really cool.
It was. It was awesome to see. It really was. It really was.
And here's the funny thing, because Cruzy, you weren't there. Well, you weren't with us. You were there in disguise.
Oh, he was there with all them people in this. He was somewhere.
He was somewhere there.
He was somewhere.
Where's Cruzy?
He probably was so slick with it. He's probably one of the people that stopped you. You didn't even realize it.
He was. Hey, great podcast. Oh, thanks.
You sound familiar. And he just disappeared. It just disappeared.
So, people, Cruzy, were when we would, somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, man, I love the podcast, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is Stu, one of the oh Stu."
Yeah.
Like they were giving Stu love.
They were.
Right.
They were. I was like, wow, man, that was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome for sure. It was people of all ages, Cruzy. Of all ages.
That's true.
There was one kid that was real young, and he was talking to you about something. It was a game, maybe, a specific game, or it was like a younger kid and his friend.
That's when I do remember that. That's when we were actually coming from the seats back around.
We were leaving. We were leaving.
Yep, I do remember him. Yep.
We were leaving.
So I think he said he went to school he went to a small high school in Norwood.
Yeah. Yep. And, he talked about the podcast. And
really nice kid, too.
Really nice kid. So yeah, it was awesome to see. It was pretty amazing to see all the people that enjoy the podcast.
Absolutely. And it's funny. We've talked about this before, Stu, because you have your own podcast. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing who listens. Like I've got my laptop up right now, and I can look and see how many people have listened to the podcast, but when you actually are that's a number, right? So there's no faces or names attached to that. Yeah. But when you actually see somebody in person and they tell you about it, and they've heard it and they're listening, and one guy told me that during the pandemic, he was locked in to the podcast, and he's telling me about all the different episodes. I'm like, wow, that's really, really cool. Because, that's what you do this.
Is that not the first big, full sports event since the podcast has started, though?
Man.
It is, right?
Facts. I'm so glad you said that.
I thought about that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't think about that, and I would have not mentioned that today, but that's the first big function that I've been to where there have been, Bearcat fans and really could kind of enjoy talking to Bearcat fans. Yeah. That was definitely dope.
It was awesome.
So first of all, thank you, Bearcat fans, for listening. And here's the other thing too. If you see me at an event, come up and talk to me, right? like
Unless I'm trying to walk with him to get somewhere. I mean,
unless you see Stu and we're trying to get to the seats.
And we're trying to get to the seats, I might have to play security and do a Derek. What's his name? Derek Henry. I'm about to do a stiff arm.
Or give him a stiff arm.
Yeah, I don't want to have to do that to nobody.
No, I love talking. I love when people come up and they give the feedback. They're like this, they're like that. I liked when you interviewed so and so. Like I love hearing that. Like even things you think we need to do differently. Like please stop me and come up and talk to me. Yeah. But we finally, Stu, we make it to the seats.
And it was halftime.
No, it was almost halftime. He's honest. It was almost halftime. It was. But so Evan Prater.
Yes.
His dad, who I've known, Gary, for a while, sitting next to us. Great guy, man. I'm telling you. Evan's family, his mom was there too. She wasn't sitting in the stands. She was sitting or standing behind us. Evan's family is awesome, man. Mom and dad are just so positive, great people. And, you know, like Evan is for those that didn't see him in high school, he is like elite athlete, like elite. Like that game he ended up getting in and he did a flip in the end zone and made like SportsCenter top 10. But I'm here to tell you, man, that kid is like, he's got NFL talent, elite level. He just, hadn't had his eye. What's great about Evan is he's learning behind Des Ritter, who's a very, very good leader. Great leadership qualities, real even keel guy as a quarterback, and I think Evan's learning some things that he's never learned before. Right? He's never really been behind anybody.
Yeah.
Right? You get humbled.
You get humbled.
And you learn a little bit.
And you learn. When you see things in a different way, which is a great opportunity if you embrace it.
Absolutely.
Great opportunity.
And what's even better is you've got two great parents that are telling you the right things along your journey. They're not telling you, hey, man,
you should be playing for real.
You should be playing over Dez.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
See.
No. They're not telling him that. Great people. So shout out to them.
Yes,
I hope those are his. I didn't even ask him. I hope those are his season tickets and get to sit next to him for the whole season. Really enjoyed that. Then we sit down for a little bit. Then it's halftime. So we get up and we go meet my buddy Seth Coyle, one of my best friends. And then as we're standing there, Coach Miller comes walking by with his staff and a recruit. And I stop Coach. I say, hey, Coach, man, I want you to meet because you said you hadn't met. Yeah. So I introduced you to Coach Miller. What was your impression? Because I'm sorry, I turned around and started talking to a basketball recruit. Yeah. So I apologize.
No.
I don't even know what you guys talked about. Shit, tell me.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about, there was two other guys there. It was your friends.
My friend Seth.
Yeah.
And, Dan, yeah.
Okay, so we were all talking to him, and I know he was talking to, I can't remember if it was Seth or whoever, or Dan.
Dan.
He
said or whoever.
My bad, Dan. I ain't going to do that to you.
Dan ain't listening.
Okay. But talking about, like, I guess a city that they were both connected to, maybe. I'm not sure. But they were talking about food and stuff like that.
Really?
I think so.
So my buddy Seth and Coach Miller were
or
talking
maybe it was around here. It might have been Cincinnati. Like, we're to eat. We were talking about Cincinnati. That would make sense.
Okay.
That would make sense. But just food and stuff like that, just normal stuff.
Right.
Normal talk.
Okay.
And we were talking about the football, and, he was talking about how the atmosphere was so great. Because, that's his first time being at a UC football game.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So he was talking about how the atmosphere was great and how he loved the energy and stuff like that. And he was impressed by the football energy, and I was impressed by it too. It was a sold-out, packed stand.
Yep.
The crowd was amazing. The football team was doing really good. And I'm sure that hyped him up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? With the basketball season coming around the corner. But my impression of him so far is that he is very personable.
Yep.
And I think that is so amazing.
Yep.
Me and your friends were talking about that once he walked away, because I was at the tailgate. I was with one of the former players who I grew up with, and he said the former player said, "Man, I've been forgetting that he's the coach. He just walks around. You know, it's not like he's trying to like hide himself away from people. He's embracing the Bearcat community.
Absolutely.
You know, he's shaking hands. He's talking to people face to face. He's having real authentic conversations. It's not just like, hey, okay, all right, goodbye. I did it just because it looks good. No, it was real stuff. You know what I mean? And he's doing a really good job. He is. He's doing a really good job.
So 100% agree with you. Spot on. And I think the reason he's like that is because he comes from that North Carolina family. And North Carolina's alumni base of basketball players, just athletics, is so strong.
Yeah.
They're big into that. And he knows how important that is. And just shaking hands with people, engaging with people. And the great thing, too, about it is, like, Coach Miller doesn't come across like fake.
Right.
It's very authentic.
It's authentic, yeah. It's authentic.
Which is great and refreshing.
He's a really good people person. He was just walking through there. Some people probably didn't even notice. You know what I mean?
They didn't.
They didn't.
I stopped. I think I was the first to stop because I saw him coming.
Yeah.
Our direction. Nobody stopped. They don't know him now, but they will. They will very soon.
They will for sure. They will for sure.
The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. And by the way, shout out to Steve Boymel and Greg Miller, both from the Healthcare Management Group. Steve, obviously, we've interviewed him. We went out to his house in Indian Hill, big time UC supporter. Greg Miller, who works with him. Greg Miller's son, Matt Miller, I call him Matty Ice. Matt Miller is now a member of the UC basketball staff as a GA, a grad assistant. Matt Miller has come from IU. He was with Archie Miller at Indiana, and he was a manager. So he worked for him during his time there at IU, and now he's here at the University of Cincinnati. But a fun fact for you. Matt Miller, a.k.a. Matty Ice, was my intern with Shining Star.
Wow.
Yes.
Good. Very good.
A great full circle moment. And I'm going to tell you.
Wow.
Matty Ice is one of the hardest working kids. Like, he is a grinder, and he will do. I told those coaches, I said, you need to take Matt. He will do whatever you want him to do. And I've talked to several coaches, and he's exceeded expectations over there. So shout out my guy, Matthew Miller, a.k.a. Matty Ice.
Matty
for
Ice.
The great job you're doing over there with the basketball program. I wish I could have him on the podcast, but due to the rules, I can't right now. But at some point, it'd be great to catch up with Matty Ice. So you talked about the energy at Nippert, which was amazing.
Amazing.
We decide, gosh, I can't even remember what point it is. By the way, man, I have to address this.
You need to.
So we're sitting next to Prater's dad and his mom's behind us. Okay, so here was my thought process. So my thought process is, it took us almost a whole quarter to get from one side of the stadium to the other. How long is it going to take us to get to the parking garage? So we better leave. It's 35-0, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We better leave probably in the third quarter, whatever it is. So we get up and we tell Mr. Prater and his mom, hey, we got to go. We'll see you. And it struck me like, we were like 10 steps away, and I'm like, oh, no. That probably came across bad because Evan's getting ready to come in the game.
Oh, yeah.
I've known Evan forever, and they're the nicest people, and here we are leaving.
Right.
I didn't even process that. So
yeah.
Shout out to them, and I didn't mean for it to. Yeah, you were like, yeah.
I was like, wow, yeah, that does seem a little salty, but thankfully, Meacham is Meacham, so we still got to see it anyway, Cruzy.
We didn't make it.
We didn't make it out. We didn't make it out. We saw him score and everything. We saw the flip. We saw it all.
We saw him play.
By the
way, if the Praters end up listening to this, we left early because it's Stu's fault.
No.
He said, hey, let's Let's get out of here. Okay, I'm lying. It was my
Wow.
So, okay, it was my fault. So as we're leaving out, that kid's, the kid and another, his buddy stopped me and talked to me about the podcast. Then we run into Darius Baisley.
We do.
He's playing with the OKC Thunder.
We do.
And I haven't seen DB in forever.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
probably since he was in high school. That last game I saw him at Mason High School when Princeton played Mason. That's probably the last time I saw him. So it was good to catch up with him.
Yeah.
And then Alex Mcclendon, his brother Tyler.
Shout out to Big Al.
Big Al. His
Walnut
brother,
Great.
Walnut Great.
Walnut
His brother
Great.
Tyler, who is being recruited, plays at Walnut.
Plays at Walnut.
Played for you at one point, or did he just skip past you?
No, he's younger. So, no. Yeah, he skipped right past me.
Yeah, I mean Tyler, not Alex, but Tyler skipped right past you.
Yeah, I thought you meant like in junior high because he played at junior high at Walnut, but I had already moved up
Gotcha.
to JV. I wasn't a junior high coach.
Gotcha.
And then at his freshman year, he was starting varsity.
He was already
He moved right on past me.
So UC is recruiting him,
Yes,
which is dope to see.
it is. It's
Dope to see.
It's crazy.
I've known Alex for a long time.
Yeah.
He's on the staff at Walnut,
He is a varsity assistant, doing a great job, doing a really good job.
and I've always seen. I saw Tyler as a kid for so long. He's still a kid, but when he was like a lot smaller, I've always seen him. And I've gotten to know him better over the last year. He's a quiet kid, very
Yeah.
quiet kid,
Humble.
very humble.
Very humble.
Very humble. So it's good to see UC, recruiting him. So I'm very happy to see that. Also, great to see Darius Baisley, another Cincinnati kid, doing well, playing in the NBA. So
Yes.
that was good.
Yes.
Cruzy, we finally make it out of the stadium.
Yes.
And I say to Stu, let's go to Mio's. Let's get some pizza.
Yep.
Order some to go. Hang out for a little bit.
Be there maybe like 5 to 10 minutes.
We'll be there 5-10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes.
See Rich and Kelly, the
Yeah.
owners, great people. We go over to Mio's, go right in,
Yep.
see Kelly, see Rich, I order my pizza. 2 hours later, we're still...
Yeah, 2 hours later, Cruzy. 2 hours later. 2 hours later. Mo Egerton walked in. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, he didn't walk in. I'm like, oh my goodness. Matty Ice walked in.
Matty Ice did walk
Everybody
in.
started walking in. I'm like, what are the odds that all these people are walking in? I'm like, we're not leaving anytime soon. Anytime soon. Then there was a guy who is an avid listener of the show.
That's right. Nick.
Yep.
Yep. Nick.
And so, there was just many signs, Cruzy, that we were not going to be there for 5 to 10 minutes. No, a lot of signs.
At one point, I saw Stu just grab a seat and sit by the bar. You ever see those those old shows, like maybe like Law and Order, where they got that guy sitting at the bar after a hard day of work and his tie's like halfway undone, a button. That's how Stu looked defeated. And he's sitting at the bar like,
I had a long day of playing security for Meacham, so now I'm sitting here tired.
I tell you what, if you are not a people person, now Stu is a people person.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not a people person, you do not get along with me very well, going places.
Oh, no,
it doesn't
for sure.
work.
Oh, no, absolutely. Because this is what, if you're walking with Meach, this is what you will hear. You ready?
Yep.
Meach. Oh, Meach. Oh, they go Meach. Hey, Meach. Meach. It's like the Donda.
That's too funny.
I was like,
I got a good story.
it started getting to the point where I would like read people's faces, Cruzy. I'm so serious, and I'm like, he's about to approach Meach. he has recognized Meach. I could just see it in people's face.
That's funny.
It was awesome though, man. It was so fun to see. It was so fun to see.
He even texted me after the game. He's like, if you ever
Yes.
have an extra ticket,
Yes.
I'm in.
Absolutely. Not Cruzy.
Not
Me.
Cruzy mixes up days.
Yeah,
We can't trust
he'll show up
Cruzy.
next season.
Yeah, we can't trust Cruzy. I got to tell the story real quick.
Okay.
At Mio's, I love this moment. Maybe one of my favorite moments of Saturday. So, Stu and I are standing there talking, and I said a couple words, and I cussed because I'm telling him a story, and in the story, the person says this like these cuss words, so I say them, and there's a dad and his daughter sitting there, and the dad looks over at me, and the daughter's not in high school, she's like a college student, but I'm like, oh man, I think I might have. They heard me and it came across wrong, so I went over to the table, and I said, sir, I said, I saw you look at me. I said, I apologize that I cussed in front of your daughter, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, oh, you shot me a look after I had cussed. He was like, oh, I didn't even hear you. And he was like, well, thanks for coming over and saying that. He was like, I was actually looking at your shirt. He was like, I loved your shirt. And I was like, oh, thanks. So we started talking about my shirt. He introduced me to his daughter, and we were just talking, and he was like, were you at the football game? I was like, yeah, you at the football game? And so we were just talking, and I was like, do you go to the basketball games? And he's like, nah. He goes, this is funny. He goes, I haven't had season tickets since, Bob Huggins was the coach. And he goes, I used to go 97 and, and I'm like, oh, that's when I played. But I'm just thinking of something in my head. Uh-huh. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you were like the 90s big Bearcat guy. And he's like, oh, I was at every game. And I was like, oh, who's your favorite player? And he goes, Mel Levitt, the helicopter. And I was like, oh, I just saw Mel at the Bearcat. He's like, you're kidding me. He's like, Mel Levitt. So he goes on and on about Mel. And so, Cruzy, I'm getting ready to end it. And just hey, great to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So he goes, to me, he goes, who's your favorite Bearcat basketball player of all time? And I'm like, he obviously has no idea that I played. No clue. Daughter's too young to even know.
Right.
So I was like, well, I said, I'm like you, man, a 90s Bearcat guy. I was like, but do you remember at the end of the game, this is me talking to the dad, I said, there used to be this guy that would get in, Meacham. And he goes, I love that guy. The crowd would go crazy. And he's doing all this, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, that's my favorite player. He was like, oh my God. So I take out my wallet, and I pull out my ID, and I put it on the table. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, and I point to my last name. And he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he's like, no. And I was like, that's me. And he's like, I feel so stupid. And I was like, no, don't. He's like, you look so different than when you. I was like, oh, it's all good. Yeah. So I talked to him for a while.
He's like, Meacham, I thought you were Mike Bibby.
See, that wasn't necessary. See, did you have to do that? I'm sorry. Did you have, and then Cruzy, I don't appreciate, Cruzy, you haven't laughed the whole podcast, and you laugh at that? Cruzy?
I thought you were Jason Kidd.
See, Cruzy, don't feed the animals at the zoo. Cruzy? So
I thought it was.
No, stop. You can stop now.
I was contemplating if it's going to be a deal or no deal.
Stop. Are you finished now?
I'm sorry.
Are you finished?
I'm done.
This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You won't lose any credit or have to start over. And see, whenever I read that, that means you need to stop.
Yeah, that just cuts it off right there.
By the way, shout out, as we talk about the College of Arts and Sciences and we talk about the University of Cincinnati, shout out to Lisa Holstrom, one of the great people at the University of Cincinnati. I saw her today when I went to speak to some of the student athletes, and shout out Dr. Joe Lucky as well. I got a chance to catch up with Dr. Joe Lucky, and those are some behind-the-scenes folks that really make UC athletics go. Great people. So shout out to them. So anyway, I finished talking with those people, and then we go back. Mo Ager walks in, my guy Mo. Mo been in the radio game for a long time. Mo and I took a picture. I got to post that picture of Mo and I here soon. Here's where I got to give a shout out to Mo. Mo Ager, I saw him pre-pandemic at the Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout pre-party. It was downtown. We had just started the podcast. And Mo said to me, "Hey, saw you started your podcast. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you." So I call up Mo the following week, and I said, "Hey, I'm following up with you. You said if there's anything I could do to help you." I said, "Yeah, I'm just trying to find ways to promote the podcast more." He says, "How about I have you come on my show once a week, talk about Bearcat hoops?" And he did. And obviously, we did that until the pandemic started. And I want to give a shout out to Mo for always supporting me. I had him on the podcast. He always had me on his show, and just always been a stand-up, really, really good guy. One of the great radio guys here in Greater Cincinnati area. So shout out to Mo. Did you get to talk to Mo?
I did. I had a decent, a little time to talk with him. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't even see you talk to him. I might have been drinking I had a Sprite.
Oh, Sprite. Okay.
I had a Sprite. And yeah.
Okay.
Adult Sprite.
That was an adult Sprite for sure.
Adult Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
So that was a good time. And I took home with me a large Mio's pizza.
He did. That was cold at that point.
And
it was so cold. He was just moving the box, cruising. We opened up to look at it. It was still in the same place. It just frozen.
It was. I ordered the pizza
when we first got there.
When I first got there, in
Yes.
2.5 hours. It was Stu's fault. Stu was talking to people and stuff. But
Almost fell asleep.
I tell you what, I could use a large Mio's pizza right now. It is.
Wow.
It's so just so people know, it's 11:09 p.m. right now. So first of all, Stu and Cruzy, thank you for being here late in the evening recording this podcast. So our Bearcat fans appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And maybe, Cruzy, when you come to a football game, you can walk around and people are like, "Oh, that's Cruzy," and
it's
you can
Cruzy.
sing a song for people. They might. It depends on the disguise.
It
whether
depends
they
on the
recognize you.
disguise.
They're like, "Oh, that's Peter Cruzy." It's Larry.
Peter Cruzy. Larry Cruzy.
All right, so I'm going to jump into a couple things here because, I mean, we can go on and on about all this. I mean, just a great time Saturday.
It was
coming
great.
Saturday, game versus Murray State.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to bring up a couple things. I want to talk about Big 12. Bearcats potentially going, I'm going to say potentially because I don't want to jinx anything, going to the Big 12. I do want to mention a couple of things about Bearcat football. And Coach Miller. Quickly on the Big 12. So you've heard the news, correct, Stu? That today the Bearcats sent in their application for the Big 12.
Yes.
And apparently Friday we should hear. I don't want to jinx anything. I can't knock on wood because I don't know any wood. I don't know what this is, but knock on whatever it is, that all comes together. I'm here to tell you. Are you listening to this, Cruzy? Stu, you listening to this?
Mm-hmm.
Bearcat fans, are you listening to this? The Bearcats joining the Big 12 is one of the biggest game changers for UC Athletics. It will be the biggest game changer. I'm going to tell you why, for several reasons. Financially, it is going, and resource-wise, it is going to take the Bearcat athletic program to the next level. Just the TV deal alone with the Big 12, football and basketball, is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about UC basketball will have Kansas coming in. We'll have Baylor, our national champions, coming in. Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech. West Virginia, Bob Huggins. Can you imagine this game when Huggs comes back?
Wow. Yeah.
That's going to be amazing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Leaving the Big 12 is Oklahoma and Texas. They're going to the SEC. Potentially Friday, joining the Big 12 will be UC, Houston, UCF, and BYU. And this is incredible because obviously we used to be in the Big East, and that was, trust me, that was great. But I think a combination of what this means for basketball and football combined, of just who they're playing. I mean, just think about the ticket sales. UC football is going to be playing. I mean, this is going to be huge. So another the TV deal. I keep going back to that. The TV monies is what rules the world now. And I'm trying to find a way. The reason I'm kind of stumbling a little bit is because I'm trying to find a way to say this without saying too much, but this Big 12 move could help UC in a new apparel deal. I'm going to leave that there. Leave that alone. Also, think about this. One of the biggest things right now at UC is the football program, right? And basketball's going to get there. But football is number 7 in the country, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of attention. So one of the big things is, can we keep Coach Fickle at the University of Cincinnati? The Big 12 helps with that tremendously for several reasons. Competition,
Yep.
right? If this can happen, Fickle could make Cincinnati his final destination for coaching. I'm going to tell you how that could happen. UC is going to be getting a ton more money from the Big 12 TV deal. It's going to allow them to play. And listen, Coach Fickle gets paid a bunch. He can get paid more and more competitive salary with some of the top guys. But his assistant coaches getting paid more, which keeps them there. If you can keep assistant coaches there, of course you're going to have assistant coaches who want to go on and be head coaches.
Right.
But if you can keep your assistants there based on equal salary pay compared to the others, that's huge.
Yeah.
Right? A chance to compete for a national championship year in and year out. Man, the way they're killing it with recruiting. Could you imagine going to recruits talking about you're playing in the Big 12, you're on TV, we're putting guys in the pros. I'm telling you, this could be, and just the recruiting from a basketball standpoint. So when you have basketball and football at a high level in concert together, man, it helps. So we're at the football game, Cruzy, Stu and I, because you didn't show up. Stu and I, well, you did, but you weren't with us. So we're walking through if you're a recruit for basketball and you're just walking through the football stadium and seeing all this, you're like, this is dope.
Yeah.
Right? So then imagine being a football recruit, and let's say basketball gets to the level it needs to, and you come to the Bearcat versus Kansas game or West Virginia game, the place is sold out. You got alumni pros, Gary Clark, Jacob Evans, those guys coming back. You see all this. It just helps each other, right?
Absolutely.
And it helps grow. It helps the whole athletic department grow. And so I'm going to say this and say this again. This Big 12 deal, if it goes down Friday or very soon, will be a tremendous game changer. Will, I think, be one of the biggest things that's happened to UC athletics. And I think it could be a domino effect for a lot of things. It's going to put us in a different a different level. Stu, you what are your thoughts on that? You agree with that? And I know you understand the dynamics of college athletics.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to be a really good opportunity. Like you said, it's definitely going to be a good opportunity. I hope it works out. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I am too. So, you okay? That's another sneeze that you don't have COVID, do you? Huh?
You said, do I have what?
I'm going to test you tested at the door. You have your Vax card with you?
I have nothing. My Vax card was in my wallet.
It's in the wallet that Cruzy.
That Cruzy took. Yeah.
Larry Cruzy.
Larry Cruzy.
I like how we just, you see, Cruzy, how the joke just keeps growing and growing, but yes. Yep.
Yeah, people are going to be on Twitter like, Cruzy's a thief.
Cruzy does not like this.
He doesn't at all. He's not liking it.
He's only laughed one time, and that was when
it's like
you made a joke about me.
Yeah. His laughter right now is not real laughter. It's like, y'all better stop.
It is. It's like an evil villain laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
so maybe he's not a superhero. Ooh.
Villain. Yeah, keeping us
That's
guessing.
why my wallet went missing.
Because the villain in him
He took it.
took your wallet
He
and
took
went
my-
to Kroger
And went to Kroger.
and McDonald's.
And went to McDonald's, Cruzy.
What villain goes
To
to?
McDonald's. Wow.
Is the McRib back?
Ask him. Right?
Cruz is like, well, yeah, it is. Well, listen, I want to say this too. This whole when the whole Big 12 thing, I feel. I don't feel bad for these guys, but the local media is when this news drops and starts to build. Man, there's going to be so many stories that the local. Shout out to my guy Keith Jenkins with Cincinnati.com, The Inquirer. Keith's a great guy, good friend. Does a great job reporting information. Make sure you always check out the work that Keith Jenkins does. One of the great big time Bearcat fans. So it's always good when you got a guy in the media or a woman in the media who's reporting on your favorite team, and they actually are fans of the program. They want the best, and Keith is that. So I definitely encourage people to follow Keith's stuff. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram and all of his work. Justin Williams. Justin does an amazing job with The Athletic. He's a great writer. He's got some great articles that he puts out. So I'm sure these guys are going to be up all night. Shout out to my guys at WLWT Channel 5, George Vogel and Brandon Sejo, as well as guys that love Bearcat athletics and are doing a good job. So, I look at the media that supports the Bearcats, just the people I named. Like, you need to follow those people and stay engaged with what they have to present, because they're really going to keep you in tune. Before I forget, shout out to my guy. I ran into Josh Wiley today when I was leaving. It's Josh's birthday, so I happened to run into him, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, man, congrats on all your success. And I haven't seen Josh since his first year at UC, and we had lunch, actually, and he was kind of struggling at that point, being a first-year guy, and to see all the success that he's had and where he is right now. I just told him, I said, I'm so proud of you and how you've just overcome obstacles, and you're playing at the level you are. He'll definitely be a pro, and he and I are going to get lunch really soon. But as I'm talking to him, some girl runs up like, hey, happy birthday, and somebody else goes, happy birthday. I'm like, oh, it's your birthday. So shout out Josh Wiley, happy birthday, and I guess I'll be buying lunch then when we have lunch, because a birthday lunch, that's not against the rules, is it? Is that an NIL deal?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. He said, if not,
You can get us some McDonald's. That don't count for nothing.
yeah, Cruzy will take us to McDonald's on your credit card. The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG. Got to give the sponsors a shout. So I want to jump into a couple things before we kind of segue into, we got to have Cruzy play a song. It's been a while since people have heard
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So finally, he's taken a look at all 30 songs that you've sent him, Stu, and he's decided on one. It's good. Really quickly, listen, I'm not going to take too much time. I recently was out in L.A. on vacation. Like I said, Los Angeles, California, one of my favorite cities in the world. And I'm here to tell people, two things. There are so many people from Cincinnati that live in LA. That's one. Two, I was wearing a Cincinnati shirt in LA, and I had people yell, "Cincinnati!" just randomly. Kind of like not like we were at the football game and they yelled "Meach." It was just they just yelled it out.
Yeah.
I look, I don't know who that was. I didn't see him. They don't know me. They just saw the shirt.
Right.
But yeah, there are so many people in LA from Cincinnati. I got a chance to visit with a lot of people. Mike Bone, former Bearcat athletic director, now the athletic director at USC.
Yeah.
Took me on a tour of USC, and I'm here to tell you, man, that place is impressive.
Wow.
USC's impressive.
Wow.
And I'm not just talking about the facilities. I'm talking about some of the people that walk around the place. There's some beautiful people. There's some, he said, some beautiful sights there. Very beautiful people, which is important.
Very important.
Right?
Yes.
Mike Bone was very gracious with his time and taking me around. Got a tour through the whole basketball facility. Couldn't go into the football stadium because they were doing some renovation. They were getting ready for a game. But it was great to see him. He said he really misses Cincinnati. Doesn't miss the cold weather.
Yeah.
But he misses the people of Cincinnati, and he had a great experience here and very complimentary of Bearcat fans. And he was even saying that he's trying to get the basketball program there from a fan base at USC to the level of what we have here. He's like, man, them Bearcat fans are unbelievable. So that was good to hear. One of my best friends, Hassani, who went to the University of Cincinnati, was in DAP. He lives in LA, and he's an architect. My friend Patrick now works for, you ready for this, Cruzy? My friend Patrick from Cincinnati, went to UC, works for Rock Nation for Jay-Z.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We went on a hike up in the Hollywood Hills, and he was telling me about working on, can I give this away? He ain't listening. So, yeah, he probably won't listen to the podcast. He's working on Kendrick Lamar's album. So when we were hiking, talked a little bit about that, and he was working on Rihanna's album.
Oh, wow.
How about this? From Cincinnati. Also had dinner with my good friend Andrew Parks from Cincinnati, who now works for Adidas. His wife, his girlfriend, maybe soon-to-be wife, works for Kanye West.
Oh, my goodness.
for Adidas. She works for Yeezy.
Wow.
Yeah. This whole thing's coming together.
Yeah.
My other friend who lives there, excuse me, Jacob McIntyre, he works for Dior.
Wow.
Fashion, from Cincinnati. Jay Thomas, from Cincinnati, who's on a podcast called
The Good Podcast
with
Stu Holt.
Yes, very good.
And he's now working at the hotel.
He's in Marriott.
He's at Marriott.
In LA.
And not only that, he's doing a great job with everything he's doing. His third book
Yes.
is on the way. It's on the way.
Good is on the way.
Good is on the way. And you know what the book is called? I don't know if I'm giving this away, if I'm supposed to be giving this away. I'm not sure.
Listen, we're giving away all the...
We're giving away. This is what we do. This is what we do. But it's called Find the Good.
Find the Good. Find the Good. Does he have a chapter in there? Or is that the other... Stick to the script? Stick to the script?
Stick to the script. Did that already come out? Was that in one of the books? That's definitely a chapter.
That is a chapter. We got to check on that.
We got to check.
We got
to check. But he's doing a good job, man. I'm proud of him.
Jay's good people.
He's good. He's hilarious.
He hooked me up with my hotel in
see?
in LA.
He's
LAX.
the plug. He's the plug.
He's the hotel plug. I stayed in LAX Marriott, right on
all my
right on
AU
Century.
trips. All my AU trips.
Hooked you up on your hotels.
Oh my goodness. People started being like, "Where you staying at? Oh, that's expensive." I said, and I'll be like, "Yeah." In my mind, I'm like, "For you."
Not for me.
Not for me.
That's funny.
I'm a silver member now. Ain't that crazy?
Silver.
I'm silver.
Yeah. So
Silver.
what's the highest level?
The highest one?
Yes.
I think it's like platinum.
So platinum.
I think
which
it's silver,
assumed was
gold, platinum. And then at first it starts as regular. I was regular for the longest, but I'm no longer regular. You know, I'm silver.
You're so I'm so proud of being a silver member.
I'm a silver member. Shout out to Jay.
Shout out to Jay. Who else did I see out there? I'm actually cheating. I'm looking at my Instagram to see who else
You
I
took
saw.
a picture with some group. I didn't know who it was. It looked like a music band.
Did I?
I guess you knew him. It was like in a
Oh.
dark alley or something.
Oh, well, okay.
I was highly confused.
Okay, so...
I was like, man, he captured
Okay,
him.
that wasn't a rap. It does... I'm looking at the picture. It does look like NWA or something. So... So it's funny you say that because when we took the
MWA.
picture, when we took the picture, I was like, this looks real gangster, like we're in the
It
hood.
does.
We
It
were
does.
not in the hood. We went to a restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. It was Indian food. It was really good food. But a lot of those guys I've gotten to know, they're all from LA. Sobe, who works for Brand Jordan, works for Michael Jordan's company. Sobe was there with me. Mamadou, who's not Mamadou that played for the Bearcats, but this is Mamadou that lives in LA. He and I, oddly enough, have a unique connection. Mamadou's originally from Africa, and then moved to Detroit, and then moved to Los Angeles. Okay? Mamadou has known about me for a long time. I've not known Mamadou. I just met him, maybe 5 years ago. Just recently, Mamadou had an Air Jordan sneaker that he inspired and designed come out. So both he and I
Wow.
have an Air Jordan sneaker.
Oh, I saw that. You took a picture? Yeah.
We took a picture
I saw
together.
that. That's
He's
good.
a great dude. Like
Yeah.
he is, he's that's my guy. So we had to take a picture together. So yeah, and a bunch of those guys. It does. I'm looking at this picture. It does look like a rap group, and I look like the manager of the rap group or something, like in the middle.
You do like the manager.
I do.
Like the dude from MWA. Remember the manager?
Jerry. Don't do that. He was a bad dude. It's funny.
Oh, man.
Also ran into, guy I grew up with,
Oh.
and his daughter. He texted me. He was like, "Hey, are you in LA?" And I'm figuring, he wanted to talk to me about something. Lives here in Cincinnati. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in LA." He's like, "Me too." We ended up having dinner in Beverly Hills. Just he just saw it on Facebook. Randomly, both of us in LA at the same time. Meet down in Beverly Hills, he and his daughter. That was that was great to catch up with him. And then lastly, I do want to give this guy a shout out, Corey Dantzler. Corey Dantzler. I got two shout outs. Corey Dantzler's not from Cincinnati. He's from Los Angeles. So for those out there, Corey Dantzler's name in the inner city in Los Angeles, it holds so much weight. Mm-hmm. Like, I could literally be in the hood, in the most gang-banging area, and I could say, I know Corey Dantzler, and people would, "Hey, man, are you good?" Corey Dantzler's father, who passed away suddenly of a heart attack, started a Boys and Girls Club in South Central LA called the Lou Dantzler Boys and Girls Club. Do you know who went to the Boys and Girls Club in South Central LA? James Harden.
Oh, wow.
Russell Westbrook.
Oh.
All these guys know my buddy Corey. Corey's father started this Boys and Girls Club to keep guys out of gangs. That's why he started it. He bought an old warehouse to keep kids out of gangs. James and Russ were two of those guys.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very amazing. So Corey knows those guys so Corey and I have become really, really good friends. His wife recently passed away day after my birthday. At a young, I think she was around 48, something like that. So he and I have grown closer because I've talked to him a lot about, just trying to stay close. His son's at Arizona State right now. He has another son who's playing high school basketball in LA, good high school basketball player. So shout out to Corey. Lastly, Cruzy, I'm running on Venice Beach. And the reason I'm bringing this guy up is because we talk about you like in disguises. I'm on Venice Beach and I'm running. And I look over in the basketball court where they film White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, yeah.
There's the camera crew. And I'm like, what the hell, the camera? Something's going on.
Right.
And it's the professor.
The professor.
And he's dressed up like a nerd. He's got his glasses on. He's out there hooping. And he's doing a video for his YouTube, right?
Uh-huh.
So he's got like these big Hawaiian bodyguards. I think they're Hawaiian. They look Hawaiian. And so I kind of walk over. I'm like, that's Professor, man. I grew up watching the Professor. So I walk over, right? And they're filming this video. And so I know two people that know him, right? And one of the guys was on the And One mixtape tour, kind of famous guy. And then the other guy is kind of Instagram famous from basketball. And so they've done videos together. So I yell the one name at the professor of the guy I know, and the professor turns around. He was like, oh, you know him? And I'm like, yeah, it's my buddy. So professor comes over, talks to me for a little bit. We end up taking a picture together. Man, he was super cool.
Was he?
Very, very good guy. Wow. Very, very cool guy. Yeah. So I got to talk to him for a little bit. He had kind of like a little disguise on, Cruzy.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So a lot of people from Cincinnati and LA. Great trip to LA. Great trip. Now, we're going to end the podcast on this. Like to bring over one of our other producers.
Yes.
Not Peter or Larry.
No.
This is the one and only.
The one and only.
Colin Cruzy.
Colin Cruzy.
And as Colin makes his way over here, I want to quickly say this.
Yes.
We recently have had some conversations about Drake and Kanye, both of whom dropped an album. I'm here to tell you, Certified Lover Boy is a great album. And so you just gonna not say anything?
Well, I mean, okay. If that's your, yeah.
Yep.
You know what's also a great album?
What's that?
Donda.
I did not listen to Kanye West's album.
Wow.
I did not listen to it.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Cruzy.
I listened to one song.
Oh, see, I was about to say.
I listened to the song with Jay-Z.
And what did you think?
Of the song or Jay-Z's verse?
Of the song.
Jay-Z's verse was fire. I pretty much kind of fast forwarded through Kanye's part of him.
Wow.
Just whatever. I'm so done with Kanye West. That boat has sailed so far away from the dock.
But it can come back.
No, there's no coming back.
There's always an ability to come back.
Here's the deal.
There's always an ability to come back.
I do not like, you know how I am. I do not like negative energy. He's full of negative energy.
I mean, maybe he was.
He is. I don't like the vibe of him. You can listen to Donda all you want. I want to hear Colin Cruzy music.
Yeah, I mean, that's better anyway.
It is better.
You know what's better than both of them? Colin Cruzy.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah, that's too nice.
Colin, here's the mic.
I'm a little confused. I don't see a guitar.
Yeah, you can't. Colin, the only reason I want you over here is to do a song. You forget the damn guitar.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Cruzy.
didn't know if he was about to.
got it? You want me to beatbox?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. No, we're not here to talk to you, Cruzy.
Yeah, Cruzy, we don't want to hear what you have to say. Just sing the damn song so we can
Entertain us, Cruzy.
Good Lord. Hey, quick shout out. That segment we just finished up with is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You won't lose any credit or have to start over. All right. So, God, I'm going through all my notes here. As Colin Cruzy gets set up here, let me say this real quick. Cruzy has been performing at Mio's.
Yep.
Correct? And during the basketball season, hopefully we get things worked out. We're going to be doing our live podcast from Mio's, and hopefully we get you performing there.
Yes, sir.
As well. So, now, coming into the podcast, sometimes we discuss what song you're going to do. You and Stu have conspired behind my back on this song, so I have no idea what song you're doing.
Well, I thought it was your idea to let Stu pick one, maybe.
It was.
Okay.
It was. So you're partly right. So maybe you didn't conspire, and maybe but you guys text amongst yourself. We have a group text,
yeah.
But you didn't. Stu purposely didn't do it through the group text, or was that you? Or was that Peter Cruzy?
I think it was Stu.
Okay.
I think Stu likes surprises, so
Yeah.
it's probably him trying to do that.
Yeah. Surprise is like you taking his wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. Just like that.
All right. So am I supposed to guess the song, or are you just gonna play
I
it?
don't even know if you know this one.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about you just go sing it, and if I know it, I'll sing along, and if I don't, then shit, I don't know.
Sounds good.
Hell with it.
All right.
Was that you warming up?
Yeah, just getting.
You
getting
need a couple seconds to warm up?
Hey, yeah, just maybe 10 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead and
if
warm
you
up.
want to, yeah.
You want me to do some just ad lib, some comedy
just some
stuff?
ad-lib. Yeah. Let's do some comedy. Yeah.
So how's everybody doing out there? How about the weather? I mean, isn't it great out there? It is. I will say this. Coming back from LA to Cincinnati, the weather has been excellent. And you can thank me for that. Yes. You know why, Stu? Because I took a bottle and I put the weather in the bottle and I closed the bottle and I brought it back and then I opened it when I got back. Which is not true, but you always hear people that say, "Can you put it in the bottle and bring it back?" Like, no, I'm not. I'm bringing it back in the bottle. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because people don't want to hear me talk about. People are like, Jesus, can we fast forward?
I'm ready. All right, here we go.
Hey, if I know it, can I start singing along?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm got. All right, here we go. I don't need to be anything other than a prison guard son. I don't need to be anything other than a specialist son. I don't need to be anyone other than the birth of two souls. Part of where I'm going is knowing where I'm coming from. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms, wondering where I'm supposed to be or who I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than me. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and have some peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms, wondering what I've got to do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than me, other than me.
Cruzy, I am so confused. I have never
you
heard
confused
that
about?
song in my life.
It was a big song, and I don't know when it came out, early 2000s, and it was always on the radio. But that's how I knew it.
Okay, so wait a minute. Stu picked this out?
That was Steve's choice.
Okay, you want me to take a guess?
Of who is by?
Yes.
You get one guess. So if you get it wrong, you'll be
Okay, my guess. What? If it's wrong, I gotta buy you Eli's barbecue. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that deal. So we're not doing that deal. Oh gosh, that song is by Counting Crows.
I'm surprised you know Counting Crows.
I don't know. I just took a guess. No, but seriously, God, that's tough. I'm not. Oh God.
So you did not know that one?
Oh, it's one person. It's not a group.
Yeah,
it's
just
one person.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be Hootie because the Blowfish are a group of people, right? Hootie, it's one person. John Cougar Mellencamp. I have no idea. I give up.
This is the only song I knew by him, so I didn't realize his name too. So see what it got me with that one too. I would have owed him some Eli's barbecue.
All right, just
that one.
tell me. I need to know.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah. You got the mic.
Okay, sorry. I'll have to look it up. It's Gavin DeGraw. That's who it's by.
I had no.
You know Gavin DeGraw?
No.
You know Gavin.
Gavin DeGraw?
You know Gavin.
I don't know Gavin DeGraw. What high school did he go to?
That one time?
That one time?
that one time I was singing?
I'm seriously. I don't know who.
When you ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm doing just fine. I would lie and say that you're not on my mind.
I like how you get that.
When I go out and I sit down at a table set for two, and finally I'm forced to face the truth. No matter what I say, I'm not over you.
Stu Holt, ladies and gentlemen. Sex with chocolate. Sex with chocolate. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, he's got a couple good songs, but
Now, okay, so are you going to put that into your...
I think I should. I mean,
your catalog
I think a lot of people know that one. Like I said, it used to be on the radio all the time, so...
Well, I'm
Might
here
have
to
to
tell
add that
you.
one, yeah.
I'm going to have to look up this guy's music. Thank you, as always,
Oh, of
Cruzy,
course,
for
of course.
performing.
Thanks for having me.
And listen, we're gonna get you at Mio's performing.
Yep.
And like my man Stu Holt said, after we finish our podcast at Mio's, we then, as we finish up the podcast, what do we do, Stu?
We say, Cruzy, take us out.
Just like the Roots.